Chapter 99. The next day was already the weekend. Trump dragged Alex out of the house and they drove to Old Street early in the morning. The old man looked very refreshed and energetic, and upon stepping out of the car, Trump waved his hand at Alex as he said, "Come. Let me show you how you can pick up a good product." After that, both of them started walking down Old Street. Alex had to walk quickly to keep up with Trump. Regardless, he continued to look around him as he walked along the street. Since it was the weekend, there were a lot more people on Old Street as compared to usual. Old Street was very dense on both sides of the street as there were many vendors who came out to set up their stalls during the weekend, and so, the whole street was very packed. Many vendors simply placed a plastic sheet on the ground as they welcomed guests and customers to check out all the various kinds of olds and jades placed on the ground. Alex looked around casually and realized that there were barely any genuine products in the entire market. In fact, most of the vendors here set up their stalls to trick laymen, tourists, and foreigners. Most of the tourists who bought the olds did not know the value of the item, and they would often be grinning as they held the imitation product in their hand, thinking they had gotten a good bargain for themselves. "Over here." Trump stopped in front of a simple stall, his face filled with excitement and expectations. A few tourists were standing around the stall at this time, looking through the variety of olds. Trump quickly joined the crowd because he was afraid that he might lose out on a good deal. Alex took a good look around the stall. The stall was nothing more than a piece of oiled paper that had been spread over the ground with several dozen mud-stained olds placed on it. There were blue and white horses, some copper coins, copper whiskey cups, jade bracelets, and yellowed calligraphy paintings. Even though there was a dazzling array of items, Alex could tell that it was all fake just by glancing at the items. The owner of the stall was a skinny and dark-skinned man who was dressed in a simple and casual dark blue t-shirt. His hair was very greasy and disheveled, and yet, he had a straightforward and honest appearance. "Look at this," Trump said to Alex excitedly as he pointed at a colorful bottle that had a big mouth. He then spoke in a low voice, "This is the whiskey bottle that will complete my Celadon cups. If I buy this whiskey bottle today, I can make my Celadon cups a set so that the price can be tripled." Alex glanced at the whiskey bottle before picking it up and turning around to face the owner of the stall. "How much is this?" The owner of the stall stared at the whiskey bottle before replying, "Well, my father said that I could only sell that for at least $30,000 and not a cent less." Trump almost laughed out loud when he heard the price of the whiskey bottle. Subsequently, he quickly said to Alex, "The owner of the stall does not even know the value of the olds that he is selling. Let's hurry up and buy it before anyone else does." After he was done speaking, Trump hurriedly took some money out from his pocket. At this time, Alex quickly stopped Trump before he smiled and said, "Dad, this thing is definitely not worth $30,000. We are not buying it." "What?" Trump was taken aback. "Then, how much do you think it is worth?" Alex stretched out his hand before shaking his hand in front of the owner. "This number." $7,000? The boss asked as he stared at Alex. Alex shook his head. "No. $70 at most." The owner of the stall stared at Alex as though he was looking at an alien before he suddenly shouted, "Do you even know the value of olds? This is an old that was left behind by my grandfather. It is a rare piece of treasure that you cannot find anywhere else today. Are you trying to bully me just because you are from the city?" Trump became anxious and tried to stop Alex from challenging the owner of the stall. "Alex, don't talk nonsense. You are interfering with his business." Alex smiled before raising the whiskey bottle and turning it around. After that, he wiped the yellow mud stain from the bottom of the whiskey bottle with his hand and pointed to the wordings at the base of the whiskey bottle. "Dad, take a look at this." The wordings were very small, and an ordinary person would not have noticed it if Alex had not pointed it out. There were a few words written in English at the bottom of the whiskey bottle. Made in Japan. Trump was so stunned that he froze in place for a brief moment, at a loss for words. After a short while, he regained his composure and his face flushed red as he yelled and pointed his finger at the owner of the stall. You cheater. Alex took the whiskey bottle and waved it in front of the owner of the stall before saying, "The manufacturer will not blatantly allow the sale of fake olds. And that is the reason why they printed this in the fine print. You are quite clever to cover everything with mud. Will you sell this for $40 now?" This. The owner of the stall was stunned for a moment before the smile on his face disappeared.